Shopping online is totally my vibe, but I'm always anxious that my card information will be stolen. That is, until Dupaco made it easy to keep tabs on my transactions or purchases, helping me catch any I didn't make. Now I can shop with confidence, without spilling a drop on my latte. Dupaco, your money, your tools. Open an account today. Learn more at dupaco.com/shine.
All things Hawkeyes, your all-access pass. From courtside to the postgame. Iowa's News Now Sports presents Eye on the Hawks. Sponsored by Dupaco Community Credit Union and Pin Social.
All right, welcome to a remote version of Eye on the Hawks. We're at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for the recap of the Big Ten Tournament quarterfinals. Iowa's win over Illinois. Mike Howell and Owen Sebring. We were in the building here. I was doing a lot of live shots for the show. Mike was watching the game in person most of the way. Give me your initial thoughts on this Big Ten quarterfinal.
Well, I mean, I was writing a web story like during it, right? And for a web article, I should say, for the people that are watching, for our TV station. And as I was writing it, I write it with I start the headline with 10 minutes left in the game. Hawks cruise to a win. And then you look at this final score and it's only 6 points and you're sitting there like, what? Well, Iowa put their backups in with 4 minutes left,
right,
or a little under 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And Illinois ended with a 15-0 run.
Yeah.
But I mean, outside of that, Iowa kind of controlled the entire game. I thought they played awesome. Hannah Stolke played awesome, and that's kind of surprising. Knowing what we know now.
Yeah.
She hadn't practiced since the last Illinois game 8 days ago, and she was dealing with virus a few days ago.
Right. Yeah. And we didn't. I mean, I talked to the players down in the locker room, and it sounded like they didn't even know that Hannah was going to go until today. They were told maybe just hours before the game that Hannah was actually going to play. Hannah didn't even know. I mean, again, she mentioned yesterday that she woke up had a virus, and she maybe got from a room in the Carver Hawkeye Arena while she was trying to recover from her elbow injury. So it was all very day-to-day up to the last hours before the game for Hannah Stolke, but she comes out there, and what was her line tonight? I think she had double-digit points. She had 13 points, 5 rebounds. I mean, great game from Hannah. She looked like exactly what you want out of her, because I think that you said that Jan mentioned in her press conference that she didn't even practice since the last Illinois game, right?
Yeah, that's what she said after the game, and she said, I think she said on Wednesday that she played the rest of the Illinois game on last Thursday, and then after the game, kind of after the adrenaline rushed off, that the swelling just went nuts. And Jan had mentioned after the game that she went over to the wrestling room trainer because it's an injury that a lot of wrestlers get, and they helped her learn how to tape it. And so they taped it this morning. She was wearing a sleeve over her elbow, and she's she looks really good in warm-ups and in shoot-arounds, so we're going to go with it.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting information. Do you think that if you want to call it a blown lead late in the game when it goes from 20 points to 6 points by the end of it, is that a storyline that people should focus on at all? I know that there are some fans that are maybe a little bit, I think they're only unhappy because they had to get a little tense in the last 20 seconds or so, but is that a storyline we should focus on at all?
I really don't think so, and I think when we had the podcast when it happened against Maryland on the road earlier in the season, I thought it was important to talk about.
Issue, yeah.
But when you're looking at it, Iowa was up 20 with 3.5 minutes. They want to win this tournament. It's a 3-game in 3 days.
Yep.
If you want to win it, take your starters out. If you look at who was on the floor, it was Tegan Mulaney, Callie Levine, Journey Houston was in. She played a lot of minutes though, but it was mainly your backups. And I think Jan was like, I'm going to let them play through the errors. Then with 30 seconds left, she called a timeout. I thought she was going to bring the starters back in, but they were still up 9, and you're like, just 2 possessions, girls. Illinois did hit a 3 at the end to cut it to 6. I was a little surprised. After that, there was about 15 seconds left, and Illinois didn't foul. You're down 2 possessions. What the heck?
Is anything really going to happen? No, that never really works, the foul game there. But
if you remember, Iowa men against Michigan State 2 years ago, they were down how many points with under a minute, and they hit a bunch of threes and tied it and won it in overtime.
Right.
It can happen.
It can happen, yeah, and especially when you have younger players out there.
Yeah.
If you're Illinois, let's foul one of these freshmen like Callie Levine, who's a sophomore, but let's foul one of these younger players who doesn't play very much and see if we can ice her at the line. It was 64-43 with about 3:43 left in the game. That's when Illinois hit a 2, and that was the start of a 15-0 run to end the game, which Darden Souther told me after the game that the line right before tip-off was a 6.5-point spread for the Hawkeyes. And so
And Iowa was winning by 10 to 20 points almost the entire game.
Exactly, yeah. So I don't think, I mean, I know that fans are maybe going to be a little bit upset about the way things ended, but certainly doesn't need to be indicative of anything else that happened tonight or for the rest of the week for the Hawkeyes. I mean, I think that you saw what you can get out of the players that are the important ones, which was 4 players finishing double figures tonight. We had Hannah Stoke, who I think, what did I say? She had 13 points. You had Ava Hayden, who finished with 16 points. Yep. Strimlow had 9. Chit Chat had 12. Kylie Feuerbach had 10 points. Like, just overall, a great performance from all the players that you wanted. I mean, maybe it would have been nice to see a little bit more off of your bench. Journey Houston's 4 points and 12 rebounds, by the way.
That's where Journey made her money tonight. That's a pro sports phrase that I use, but I guess they make money now. But 12 rebounds. I mean, she was on the glass all night long. Yeah. She played really well.
Incredible performance by her as just a freshman. One thing interesting that Chad Leistico told Taylor after the game was that last year in the Big Ten Tournament, again, they played 3 games last year, she scored 0 points for all of last year's Big Ten Tournament, 9 points tonight, kind of a great redemptive story. I mean, it's been a great redemptive story all season for Taylor Strimlow, who's been like such a clutch player with some of the injuries that have happened, but really filling in tonight and having a nice game with 9 overall points. And then Ava Hayden, I felt like, again, she had to be this story. She was the story a year ago at the Big Ten Tournament when she had kind of her breakout starring role, and now here she is again.
Yeah, and at one point in the mid-second quarter, maybe it was the third quarter, I turned to you and I was like, I don't know why they don't throw it into Ava as much. She was like 2 for 3 at the time. She had 6 points. She did sit because she got an early foul, I believe, and then she got a second foul on a moving screen. But right when that happened, when I told you that, she got the ball in the post and then got an assist to, I can't remember who, maybe it was Journey, maybe it was Chit Chat, but how about the play of the night? What do you think? I got one in mind. I wanted to see if it was the same one.
Had to be the Strimlow and Chit Chat connection.
Yep, that's exactly.
Yeah.
Chit Chat's running down, throws it between her legs, and Chit Chat threw it between her legs to Strimlow, and Strimlow almost seemed like she didn't expect it. Grabbed it, waited a second, threw it back in, and then Chit Chat got the layup. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, after the game, Chad Leistico asked both of those players about that play as well, and I had a chance to hear about, like, Chit Chat kind of threw it, and then she was like, oh, shoot, she fumbled it. Oh, shoot, I'm wide open. So she was there for the ended up getting the bucket after all. But, anything else that was, like, a either glaring, error or mistake or anything that went wrong, you think, tonight for Iowa, or was everything just firing on all cylinders?
No, I think it was firing on all cylinders. And what was the issue last week against Illinois? The 3-point defense. Yes. And they shorted up tonight. Yeah. And here's a stat that was sent to us by the Big Ten tournament.
Okay.
Iowa held Illinois to 33.3% from the floor. That's their lowest percentage of the season. And their leading scorer, Sarah Parchman, just 2 points, which is their lowest in a game this season.
Really?
So the defense played a lot better than they did last time against Illinois.
Impressive. They shot a little bit below their free throw average, 79% they shot tonight, 11 for 14 on free throws. Turns out they're the best free throw shooting team in the nation at something like 82%, I think, so shot a little bit below that tonight. Certainly helped. Yeah, I think, what did you say Illinois shot percentage-wise from 3 in the last game? Was it 58?
58%, yeah. Okay. And this game they shot...
Indeed. Let's go Hawks.
28% from the line. Oh, sorry, that was Iowa. 22% is what Illinois shot from 3.
5 for 22, 23%.
2 of those were in the last 4 minutes, too. 2 of those threes. Yeah, I believe.
And that, I mean, again, I asked Kylie Feuerbach about that after the game, and that's what she said, too. Yeah, was the biggest difference tonight was that they just locked them down on defense from the 3-point line, and certainly didn't help that Illinois probably missed a few wide open 3-pointers that they could have made, but that seemed to be the difference tonight overall. Chit Chat, like, you got to think about the full circle moment for her. You know, when I asked her after the game just about like what it's like to play in a Big Ten tournament versus an ACC tournament, she's like, there's a lot more people here. I don't know what ACC tournament, women's basketball tournament attendance is like, but she was like, there's a lot more fans, Iowa fans, and just fans overall at a game like this.
I'll say, too, there were, a lot of empty seats. Not like too many empty seats, but of the people that were here, maybe it was 50% full of the bowl. I would say 3/4 of them were Hawkeye fans. So you could totally hear the difference when Iowa scored compared to when Illinois scored.
100%.
It sounded pretty loud.
Yeah.
It wasn't Carver Hawkeye Arena, but maybe we should start calling this Carver East if no one does that yet.
Not yet. Caitlin Clark's doing her bit. Taylor Strimlow, by the way, wearing those Caitlin Clark themed Kobe's where they were the fever colors with the red and the yellow and the blue.
Speaking of the crowd, I think the biggest cheer of the night was when they showed Kate Martin and Gabby Marshall on the
big screen.
The big screen, yeah.
Yeah, they loved them. They gave a wave to the crowd, and was great to see them. I was a little surprised that the actual resident of Indianapolis wasn't here for the game, but it sounds like she was on a plane down to Puerto Rico for the Team USA. What are they in qualifiers right now for USA basketball?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. So, all right. Well, anything else you want to talk about tonight before we look ahead to the next game?
No. I mean, next game right now. While we're recording this, it's halftime against Michigan and Oregon, and Michigan's up by a couple points.
Yeah.
But either one. I guess Iowa beat both of those teams, but it was at home for both games.
Yeah.
It might be a home atmosphere tomorrow, no matter who wins, for Iowa at least.
Yeah.
So
right now, 33-24 at halftime. Not quite safe to assume yet that Michigan's going to win, but they seem like the favorite to win right now. And yeah, like you say, Iowa got a win against them in the regular season. Michigan, they've seen more recently. That Oregon game was. What was that, early January or something? I forget when they made that West Coast.
Maybe late January.
Or no, they hosted Oregon.
They hosted Oregon, yeah.
Okay, that's right. I forget when that game happened. But yeah, if you're Iowa, you certainly want to see Oregon in the next round, you got to think. But time will tell what that turns out as. I do have to point out, too, that this is Iowa's first post-Caitlin Clark appearance in the Big Ten Tournament Semifinals. First time under James Jensen as a head coach. And we were talking about this, Mike and I, on the drive over here to Indianapolis today, that just 2 years ago, Iowa finished, what was their overall record? They had 5 losses in Caitlin's senior season.
34-5.
34-5. Obviously, a lot of postseason games included in there, but I just have a hard time thinking that I would have seen another 5-loss team out of Iowa at some point in the next 2 years. Like, you thought that maybe the rebuild would take a little bit of time, especially with a new head coach after Caitlin left. But, boy, they just really haven't missed a beat, and here they are, a top 10 team playing in the Big Ten semifinals and about to be a 2 seed for the NCAA tournament. Yeah,
it's one heck of a job that Jan's done, and you gotta give it to her, because when a coach change like Lisa happens, a lot of players can leave. They're afforded that opportunity. The recruits could leave, but she did her work and got Addie to stay, got Ava to stay, for her first year.
That's true.
And all those other recruits. And
Hannah Stolke, Kylie Feuerbach could have left.
Yeah.
Stuck around.
And it's worth mentioning that this is still kind of a young team. I know there's a couple seniors that are going to play their last Big Ten tournament, but the core of this team with Taylor Stremno, I won't almost think those two. Well, Chichat's a sophomore, right, and Ava Hayden, sophomore. Like, it still could be on the ascend.
Right. Yeah. I did the math earlier, and I forget what the number was, but something like 62% of their points today were scored by underclassmen. There's not really much of a junior class. Kenise Johnson is the only technical junior on the roster. So this is a team that already is like a lot of the core that you see performing here at the Big Ten Tournament. That's what we're going to see for the next 2 years for Iowa, assuming that everybody sticks around, which people love playing for Jan, and so it's hard to imagine a lot more players leaving this roster after this season. Anything else we want to touch on before the game tomorrow?
I'm not sure. Just a great atmosphere, though. Like, it sounds like a broken record all the time we say it, but it's awesome how Hawkeye fans show out and cheer on this team, and just super cool to see. We were here last year. We were in Minneapolis the year before, but it doesn't get old.
Yeah. Not quite the atmosphere maybe that we saw 2 years ago in Minneapolis. That place
Give
was
it some
sold
time.
out.
It's only the quarterfinals. Some people had to work. Maybe tomorrow will be a little bit better.
That's true. Gosh, that was insane 2 years ago. Just every game coming out to see Caitlin.
That's true.
Absolutely bananas, just lined up for miles outside. All right, well, we're going to wrap this thing up for here on Eye on the Hawks for the Big Ten Tournament quarterfinals. We're going to be following this game throughout their entire Big Ten Tournament run. So after the game tomorrow against Michigan or Oregon, we're going to be coming with another podcast as well.
I did want to say before we wrap up, we're super thankful for all of our sponsors at Eye on the Hawks, Dupaco and Pin Social, and then the sponsors that are sponsoring this coverage at the University of Northern Iowa. So we're really thankful for them.
Proud UNI alum getting sponsored by the University of Northern Iowa for this trip to Indianapolis.
Yeah,
so
pretty cool.
Make sure you're following us on YouTube and wherever you find your podcast, and we're going to be coming here all throughout the week as long as the Hawkeyes stay alive here at the Big Ten Tournament. For Mike, I'm Owen. We'll see you next time.
Shopping online is totally my vibe, but I'm always anxious that my card information will be stolen. That is, until Dupaco made it easy to keep tabs on my transactions or purchases, helping me catch any I didn't make. Now I can shop with confidence, without spilling a drop on my latte. Dupaco, your money, your tools. Open an account today. Learn more at dupaco.com/shine.